Father Duke 9000, and welcome to another episode of Games That Time Forgot, a series where I tackle concepts, betas, cancel projects, and all manner of interesting events that constantly go on in the world of video gaming development. And in today's installment, we're going back to an old nostalgic favorite of mine, Crash Bandicoot. Crash Team Racing was the very first video game I ever played. The original Naughty Dog trilogy are among my favorite common games I played in my childhood, and Crash Bandicoot remains to this day to be one of not just my favorite platformers, but one of my all-time favorite games, period. So, as you can tell, I have quite a bit of love for this franchise, which is why it drives me up the wall when nearly 5 years have gone by without so much as a new installment for consoles, and 3 years since the last Crash game was made, period. Yes, Activision CEO Eric Hirschberg. We know you want to bring Crash back, but here's the thing. You're a higher up in the world's biggest third-party video gaming company, so I'm pretty sure that it can't be that hard to put out a memo and get one of the few developers that hasn't been decimated in some shape or form to make a new Crash Bandicoot. However, ignoring my vitrolic fanboy-induced rage at Activision for doing bloody nothing at all, those lazy—
Get on with it! Yes, get on with it!
Sorry, it's just a little hard to ignore, especially after finding out a number of things concerning today's topic. The cancelled Crash title, Crash Landed. After the rather mixed retooling of the series seen in Crash the Titans and Mind Over Mutant, the at-the-time developer of the series, Radical Entertainment, decided the best thing to try and bring back the spark of the Crash games would be just to do a Looney Tunes-styled reboot of the universe and the characters with another open-world 3D platformer. Being developed for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Nintendo Wii from 2008 to 2010, Crash Landed was going to be an origin story / reboot to Crash Bandicoot, redesigning him once more into a cartoony homage of sorts to his original design, planned to be more expressive than previous games. After being mutated by Dr. Cortex, Crash would have ended up having to defend his non-mutated defenseless Bandicoot buddies, internally referred to as Bandicooties, which is utterly adorable, from all sorts of dangerous traps. It also seems that Dingodile would have served as a major villain alongside Cortex given his presence in cutscenes and concept art. As mentioned earlier, Crash Landed would have been a fast-paced 3D platformer, mostly focused around rescuing Bandicooties in a free-roaming world with open-ended levels, possibly accessed through light portals, though this is only speculation at the moment. However, there was also a gadget system in the works, whereby finding and combining items together, you could form weapons and gadgets such as a Firefly-powered jetpack, or a Frogzooka that could eat enemies or fling Crash to faraway objects that could be used to solve puzzles, uncover secrets, and defeat whatever bosses were planned for the game alongside Dingodile. Unlike Titans and Mind Over Mutant, which were developed on the Wii and ported upwards to other consoles or downwards in some cases, Landed was going to be developed on the Xbox 360 and then ported over to the Wii and PS3, with particular care taken to the assets and art style to make sure that they could be easily ported down to the Wii without suffering too much of a visual downgrade, while the music was planned to be composed by Gabriel Mann and possibly Rebecca Knubul, two members of the a cappella band Spiralmouth, the guys who did the amazing music for Twinsanity. And going from the theme tunes found on SoundCloud, it seems the musical style would have been more homage to music from old 1940s cartoons. As with Titans and Mind Over Mutant, there would have been a health bar for Crash, though it seemed to be on the visual side as well, given that Crash would have been stripped down to his tidy whities at low health. Something major that has to be talked about are the worlds in Landed. There would have been several islands to go through, all with very different and stylized environments, 4 of which were Black Rock Island, which would have been a tribute to the second island with the huge tree from the first game, a desert wasteland with an old refinery in the middle, Crocodile Island, a large jungle filled with swamps where you'd fight Dingodile, and Cortex's laboratory. As well as this, there seemed to be a random weather system and a day and night cycle put in place, as well as effects such as Crash wobbling across tall grass and getting the Bandicoot muddy in certain areas to make the environments more lively. Also worthy of note is that there was also going to be a port planned for the DS, which was also going to be fully free-roaming it seems. However, Activision weren't able to find anyone good enough, and so they canned the port. Though it is notable that Renegade Kid, the developers of Indie Hid Mutant Muds, developed an impressive-looking concept demo that apparently took only 2 weeks to be made, which I have to say is actually really damn cool. As well as this, there was also going to be a kart racing tie-in game developed by High Impact Games simply titled Crash Team Racing, which has nothing to do with the classic PlayStation game of the same name. I won't delve too far into it, but it was going to have Landed's visual style characters and some of the gadgets. It was planned to be released on the 360, PS3, and Wii, and was going to have customizable cars with all sorts of mods planned for it. However, because of Landed's cancellation, CTR 2010 ended up being dragged into the pit of gaming vaporware with it as well. And now we have to cover why Crash Landed got cancelled to begin with. There have been rumors abound that the game was cancelled in Activision's attempt to pour as much money as possible into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, but let me clarify that the truth is that is false nonsense spread by someone masquerading as a developer, alongside other rumors of the Titans returning as mini-bosses and the number of levels that would have featured in each island. All we know about the cancellation is that for whatever reason, in 2010, Activision laid off the entire Crash Landed development team and decided not to divert the project to another team, which led to the game being cancelled just as it was reaching the beta stage. Later that year, concept art and unused cutscenes were leaked onto the internet by ex-employees, and since then fans have been crying out for the game to be put back into development, even having a small but well-known internet movement known as Bring Back Bandicoot that's had a petition running for years, though obviously nothing's actually come of it since then. I'll be blunt about this and admit that losing Crash Landed is actually kind of depressing. It was an attempt by Radical to really bring back the charm lost in countless pop culture references, non-stop Buffy speak, and the mutilation of many characters that, for whatever reason, was canned before it could really find out what it could have done. Having an old-fashioned 3D platformer, especially with such a unique art style, is a very rare thing these days, so to lose something like that really is a shame, especially in today's rather homogenized gaming industry. I mean, it wouldn't even bother me so much if it weren't for the fact that Activision hasn't done anything with the series since releasing a couple of iOS games over 3 years ago. Activision, your franchise has an audience out there. People talk about it nearly every day. There are numerous fan projects in development to try and give something to the fans that you haven't even bothered to do, and years later, many people across the internet, through Facebook, Twitter, and what have you, they're all still wondering when they'll be able to play as their favorite orange marsupial at least one last time. So I'll ask this much of you guys. Either start making a new Crash game with one of the few studios that hasn't been decimated in some manner, or give the rights of the franchise to someone who cares to use them. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, I don't care. Anyone that'll at least put the Crash Bandicoot series to some good use, instead of leaving it to decay in a vault somewhere, abandoned and unloved. Well, until that day comes, I'm off to listen to every Spiremouth track I can find while watching Crash does a thing another 5 billion times because it's that damn good. This is Father Duke 9000, and I hope you enjoyed watching games that time forgot. Until we meet again, have a great day, y'all.